And Eddie, great result for you on Saturday, but a couple more injuries. How are Joe Linton and Fabian Schär?
Yeah, I think both players will be having scans today, so we know more. They don't appear to be too bad, but I'm reluctant to say that before we get the results.
And Sven Botman came on towards the end of the match, just back from a 3-month absence. Is it too early at this moment in time to think about starting him in games?
Sven's done a lot of work. He's rehabbed really well. So we'll have to make a decision on whether we want to start him in this game. I certainly think from a physical perspective, he's got the load behind him. Been really impressed with how he's attacked that, and thought it looked really good when he came on. So that was a great thing from the day, really.
And you didn't have Kieran Trippier at the weekend because of suspension. You've also cited a couple of knocks that he's picked up in recent games. Will he be in your squad for Chelsea?
As we sit here now, yes. But we have another training session. It'd be good to sit down and speak with Kieran and see how he's feeling. But certainly it's a big boost to have him back available. And
a couple of players who've been without for a little while because of injuries. Elliot Anderson and Matt Targett, different types of injuries, but I think we've had an update from you on those two for a while. So how are they getting on in their respective recoveries? Yeah,
they're doing okay. I think Elliot's been to see another specialist just to get a sort of a review on where he stands. Difficult injury for him because he's not been able to do too much. Stress fracture to the back. And he's had various scans to see if it's healing, and it is healing, but it's healing slowly, as those type of injuries tend to do. So the second opinion he had was of the same opinion as the first, if that makes sense, which is a good thing, I think, although slightly frustrating in terms of time frames. And Matt's is pretty straightforward, really, an operation on his hamstring, and he's sticking to that rehab target that he's been given.
In the League Cup this season, you've had to beat two big teams to get to this point, to get to the quarterfinals, and this week you've got to go and do it again, and away from home against Chelsea.
Yeah, the two draws we had previously to this one was probably as difficult as you could get. Manchester City, whether it's home or away, and Manchester United away, and then of course we get Chelsea away. So, but I think the beauty of the two games we've had previously is we've proved that we can raise our game against the top teams in a cup competition that brought so many great memories for us last year, and I think we're determined to try and progress. We're determined to try and create more memories.
It's an important competition for you, but looking back to last season and the fact that you came so close, how much extra fuel does that give you and the players who almost managed to deliver some silverware at Wembley last season, wanting to do it this time?
Yeah, I think it has, like we said, in terms of Europe this year, it's given us a bond with the competition. We've seen the rewards you can get from it, the experiences that you can get. I mean, the build up to the final was a brilliant thing to be part of, and of course the final itself was a disappointment, but the build up to it was incredible to see our supporters and how many we took to London, and just the whole spectacle, really. Just devastated we didn't get over the line in the end, but I think it's helped us for this year, and we know this game's going to be very, very difficult, but we know the prize if we can get through.
And to what extent finally does it become even more important to you because of your elimination from Europe last week, because you won't want to be going out of two big competitions in the space of 7 days?
No, you don't. I don't know if it takes on more importance. I think the importance was always there. Yeah, but we know Chelsea are motivated as well, and I think they're dangerous opponents for us. Very good team, as we've seen recently in the league. Very good manager, vastly experienced. So I think both teams will be equally motivated to do well.
Thank you.
Keith, Eddie, how important was that on Saturday to get that win, just to sort of shift the momentum and sort of get the smiles back on faces again?
Yeah, important, Keith. I think you don't want to go too long without winning in this season, in any season. I think it was an important game for us mentally after Europe to have the ability to refocus. Can't praise the players enough for their ability to stay focused on the short-term objectives, not get too emotional with the result that we had, and the disappointment that we had, and it's easier said than done. So I thought we did really, really well. It was a really difficult game for us.
I noticed when Sven came on in the second half, he was welcomed on by his teammates. It felt like a big moment for them as well to see him back there. Can that give you a real shot in the arm having him back involved? Yeah,
definitely. I think all the players are popular with each other, if that makes sense. I think that we've got this camaraderie within the squad where everyone's well liked. We've got a really good feeling about each other. But I think there's certain players that just lift the team that little bit extra, and I think Sven's definitely one of those. The players rate him very highly as a footballer, as we all do. I think he's a player that gives confidence to other people around him. You could see only in 20 minutes on the pitch, and sort of the game was dead at that point, but just the confidence he passes the ball and the passes that he finds, it makes a difference to everybody. So he's got a big importance to us. Of course, he's a big presence as well. He's a big guy, and we've missed his presence on the pitch.
Did that sum up your luck when it comes to injuries at the moment, that as soon as you get him back and things are looking up, Fabian has his injury and he's playing in the exact same position?
Yeah, I don't want to say that. I'll let you say that. But I think there's... At the time, you just have to take it. You're in game mode. You know, we're trying to win the game, so you're sort of quite pragmatic about it. It's right, okay, he's got to come off, and who's going to come on, and we have to reshuffle. Afterwards, when the dust settles, you then become a bit more... You go into it a little bit deeper, and big shame for us because Fabi's been in top form. I mean, he's really carried the weight of those injuries that we've had with Dan and Sven being out. And with Jamal, I think they've been two rocks for us at the back. So to miss Fabi now will be a blow, but hopefully it's not too long.
Sorry, did I miss you saying on Isak where you asked the Razor asked you about Isak?
No, he didn't. He missed it. He missed Alex.
Can I ask you?
No.
What is his? What's the prognosis there?
No, he's got well, it's still attached to the groin. A problem with the groin, which we don't. He had a scan last week. It's not a big problem. Very, very minor. Probably just fatigued, really, more than anything. But it's enough at the moment to us just to treat him carefully. You know, we don't want him to be out for, as he was before, 6-7 weeks. So we're trying to manage that injury.
Any chance of tomorrow?
Yeah, it'd have a chance, but we need to make the right decision.
Yeah. Just finally from me, when you think back to the cup run last season and the scenes, I mean, you touched on it there with Razor, but the scenes at Wembley, the semi-final as well against Southampton at home when you went through. When you think back to that, is there any one moment from that you look back on and think, you know, this has given me us a hunger to go one step further?
I don't think there was one moment. I think it was the semi-finals. But both games were really special. I think after the Southampton game away, where the supporters were still in the stadium and you could hear them and what that game meant to them, and then the home game was very, very special. The atmosphere, the general feeling, and the goals, the way we played. So I think they stick in my head as then you're thinking ahead to Wembley. You're then dreaming of what that may look like in that moment. So I think that the semi-final was very, very special. Of course, the dream didn't turn to reality, but maybe this year.
Thank you.
No problem.
You were talking about fatigue there. How much do you think that fatigue has played a part in the injuries to Joe Linton and Fabian Schär?
Yeah, I think ideally they would have been rotated out the team at some stage and been given a break, but we weren't having the options to do that. I think it's very difficult to predict why certain things happen. Certainly both players have been at full pelt. They've played very well, and they're 100% as they will give everything for the game. And yeah, unfortunately they're broken at this point, but as I say, hopefully they're not serious injuries.
You talked about being pragmatic a bit earlier. I mean, I know you haven't got a lot of options to change things around, but is this one time when maybe you do have to be a bit more pragmatic and maybe play some of the players who haven't had that much game time this season to concentrate on the league?
I don't think we're looking at it like that. We'll just try and pick the best team. With all the information that we have, we desperately want to win. But of course, the players have to be physically able to execute what we're asking them to do. So we'll see how we look today. Today will give us a clearer indication of how the players feel.
Just finally, just a word about Lewis Miley. I mean, obviously after the game he was, exultant, and you were too. But How has he kind of been over the weekend? Have you seen him today? How's he kind of feeling about the weekend?
No, a little bit early for the players at this moment in time to have seen them, but no, I will see him today and address him as I normally would, have a little chat with him. It was a really good goal, really good finish for him, great moment. Great to see him speak with some of the experienced players after the game in the media, and just seeing how calm he is and how relaxed he is with what he's doing. I'm sure inside he's probably feeling a little bit more emotional than he lets on, but I think that's, as I said after the game, a huge strength that he's able to keep everything inward and stay very calm.
And he is obviously a history maker because he is Newcastle's youngest and goal scorer.
Yeah, well, it's interesting to see the youngest scoring sort of charts of the Premier League, and you see some great names on that list, and he's joined those great names, and hopefully it's the start of a great career for him.
Thanks, Tom. Lee Ryder?
Eddie, I asked you this one a while back about Carabao Cup. I said, is it kind of your best chance of winning a trophy? We've got a bit more clarity on other competitions now. So, again, is it the best chance of winning a trophy for you this season?
Well, you'd probably say at the moment it is, because we're advanced in the competition, and we're getting down to the serious end of it, and that's why this game takes on big importance for us. But we don't almost try to analyse it that way, because I think there's enough pressure on the players already. It's another game, it's an away game that we want to do well in. You go back to the last round against Manchester United, I thought the players stood up and really gave an outstanding performance in a tough stadium. This will be very, very similar. We're going to need to give more against a team that's in good form themselves.
And last night, after all the games had finished, the table was calculated Newcastle in the top 6. Great to see. I mean, given everything that's gone on this season, you must be pretty chuffed with that.
Yeah, I think with everything that's gone on this season, as you say, when you take it as a whole, I think the players have been incredibly resilient and consistent to keep finding ways to respond to difficult situations. Ideally we don't want to be in the difficult situations that we're in, but I can't credit everybody enough with what they're giving. I don't think there's been a game really this season where I've looked at where I felt we haven't given everything. Sometimes we might have not performed as we've wanted to, but I don't think there's been a lack of effort in any game, and I think that's a full credit to everybody.
Just finally, from me, Emil Kraft came on the other day, and a lot of the fans were delighted with his performance. I'm sure you were as well. I don't know if unsung hero is the right word, but he has been brilliant whenever you've had to rely on him.
Yeah, I don't know the right terminology either, but Emil is someone that has never let me down. Come back from a long injury, very difficult injury, and it was, the type of injury where he's in isolation a lot. He's been working with the medical team, but he's the type that just does his work in such an unfussy way, very diligent. He's come back to fitness, and I think he's looked really, really good physically, and I think that was a really difficult moment for him to come into the team, sending off, early injury, and I thought he gave a great performance. Athletically very good. His speed is still there. His speed was one of his key assets, and after a long injury that's always a slight question mark. His power, his speed, his quality was evident. I was delighted with his performance. I thought he was outstanding.
Thanks, Lee. Dominic and then Craig?
We spoke about Sean Longstaff, Callum Wilson, Dan Burn previously not quite been 100%. Given most of them all played the majority of the game on Saturday, or they're physically able to play 2 games in 4 days.
Yeah, I don't see any medical reason why they're not able to. There'll be more just the exertions of the games, but no, they all look good to me.
Yeah, and you've previously spoken about the level of opposition you played in the cup competitions, and it's been such a high level. Has that almost taken its toll on the squad as much as the fixture schedule?
Yeah, I get the question. I don't know. I think the games that we've played have been intense, that there's been no let-up in terms of the quality. I think that it goes without saying, the harder the opposition, the more sort of mental pressure there is before the game, the more intensity there is within the game. I don't know whether that's caught up with us. I just think it's just the sheer volume that we haven't been able to, as I said many times, just been able to rotate 1 or 2 players out and give them a break at the right time. We haven't been able to do that. That's probably caught up with us.
Craig?
Eddie, after the weekend, if you look at the league table for home matches only, you guys are joint top. Away games only, you've got 5 points just above the bottom 3. Last year you managed to flip that and you married the two of them. Is there any reason this year, if you had time to reflect as to why there is such a disparity between the two?
I think if I had one answer for you, we would have solved that a long time ago. I don't think there is just one specific point. I think it's probably a build-up of several things. In saying that, in Europe and the Carabao Cup, obviously we beat Manchester United. We were seconds away from beating Paris. Those two in isolation, they're great results. So I don't know. I tend to think it's something that will even itself out over the course of the season. I certainly hope so. I certainly don't doubt our character, because a lot of the time when you're going away from home, you're looking at the characters of the players you have. Are they up for the fight? Well, we certainly are. I've got no doubt about our athleticism, our resilience. So a lot of the characteristics you're looking for an away performance, I think we have. Now, we haven't brought that on a consistent basis, and that's something we'll look to rectify.
At this stage of the Carabao Cup last year, you started playing your very strongest team from the quarter-final stage onwards. Will you be doing the same again this year, or circumstance different?
Yeah, I always find that question slightly difficult to answer, because a manager, I think, will have several versions of his strongest team. I don't think there's one. It's always in the hands of the players, really, in terms of form and fitness and lots of different reasons. So we will pick a team that we think can give us the best chance of winning, and I think that's probably the best way I answer it.
Just lastly, was there any more news on Harvey since Friday?
No, that will be an ongoing process with Harvey. There'll be no update on that. He's hopeful to come back within 4 to 5 weeks. But yeah, that's the latest plan.
Okay. Chris and then Jordan. One Eddie, after McGowan scored the weekend, he looked quite relieved. A few of the players said afterwards it felt like a big goal from him. Do you think he needed that goal? Because he's obviously contributed a lot of other things, but he almost seemed to really appreciate having scored, and that just lifted something off him a little bit.
I think every player loves to score. Miggy will be no different. I think that will be an important goal for him. But I think if you look at his recent performances, I think he's had chances, and of course we communicate to the players all the time certain things. I think he's had chances in every game. You go back to I'm thinking now off the top of my head, Everton, Tottenham. His general performances, I think, have been very good, and he's always there or thereabouts in terms of goal creation or goal scoring chances. He's a productive player for us in many different ways. So no worries from my side about his productivity. In saying that, he needs evidence of that. He needs goals himself, I'm sure. That goal hopefully will do him the world of good. But he makes such a difference for us in so many different phases of play. And again, he's still committed to his work. He's getting through an incredible amount. I'm really pleased with Miggy this year.
And just because nobody else has asked the question yet, we're sort of midway through December now. The January window is coming close. You said that the closer you got to January, the more close you have to come to make a decision on what you're going to do. Are you closer to knowing what you want to do, or was the injury situation?
I was looking more to the 31st of December, to be honest. So yeah, we're still miles away from there.
Thanks. Jordan?
No problem.
I think I'm right in saying that tomorrow is your 100th game as Newcastle United manager. I mean, in that time, does it feel like it's flown over? Does it feel like 100 games, or does it feel like it's dragged a little bit?
Lee told me today that it was my 100th game tomorrow, and I was surprised. It seems like it's absolutely flown by, as life tends to do as you get older. No, I loved every second of it. When you look back as a sort of a group of games, so many highlights, memories. Very, very proud and honoured to have hopefully tomorrow done 100 games and been through that journey with the club. Really, I think it's been a really memorable time.
And what do you hope to have achieved in your next 100 games as manager of this club?
Set me up for some predictable cliches there. I think. No, I just think from my side, I think if the players give me everything they've done in the first 100 games and they continue to do that, I'll take whatever comes. I think you're very much. I'm very much looking at the team to be an epitome of everything that we work towards day to day. And I think the players have not disappointed for a second in my time here. I've got a brilliant squad, not just of players but of people, and I'm very proud to lead them.
Okay, credit to Mark Hannon on the stat. Louise Taylor.
Hi. Now in January you've got Liverpool away and Aston Villa away and Manchester City at home, which are games which could have a great bearing on your final league position and qualifying for Europe. And you've also got the Sunderland FA Cup tie away. So is there not part of you that thinks I could just do with being out of this cup? Is there not a tiny shred of you? And also you've got the chance to have your warm weather training trip, which you might have to scrap if you stay in it.
Absolutely not. No, we want the games. We want the competition. We want to be at the end of deciding trophies. You know, that's where we have to be, not just now but in the future. So that sounds a good month, January, doesn't it? Sounds like a lot of fun, and we'll look forward to that when it comes round.
Thanks, Louise. Martin, to finish.
Just one. You've had Milan, Dortmund, PSG, Man City, Man United, and you've drawn Chelsea and Sunderland to cup. Just your thoughts on that collective list of cup ties this season.
Well, just coming on from the last question, I think it's no fun if it's easy, is it? You know, we've been thrust into the most difficult cup draws, but what that's given us, I think, has really stretched us, has taken us out of our comfort zone. It's made us improve, although sometimes you need a bit longer to show that improvement. But no part of me sort of regrets that or thinks, it's a negative. I think it's a positive because, as I said, it's forcing us to improve continually. And I think to be the team that we want to be long term, we have to be exposed to those games to get closer.
Sam,
it's Christmas party season, and we've had years where the players haven't had one because they've been told not to. Or they haven't one this year, and I think they're going to be dressing up as superheroes. Do you know what the plans are?
I certainly hope they're not. If they are, it's unbeknown to me. We've got too many games, too busy schedule for any kind of party like that. I hope this year.